Hi, I'm Tony, this is Slack, welcome to Smog Vlog. Today we're going to be reviewing the Laisimo L1 200 watts. Pachu, pachu. And back in the room, right, like we said, Laisimo L1. Now, this is going to be a long video. Long-ish, because we're not known for our short videos, apparently. So if there's any part of this that doesn't interest you, just use the time codes down below. We always time code our videos just because it's easier for everyone then to skip to the bit that you want. But for now, let's see this guy.
Yeah, so it feels like a lifetime ago I saw pictures of this. But it was Snowwolf V2, and it was early release. Oh, what's happening? What's happening? You know, and I've been waiting for Snowwolf V2 for a long, long time, and then all the pictures disappeared, and the talk of Snowwolf V2, oh, it's delayed, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then suddenly this appears, the Laisimo L1. There certainly seems to have been a falling out between Asmodus in America and Asmodus Distribution and Laisimo, who manufacture the Snowwolf on behalf of Asmodus. For us, the consumer, it means that we are now seeing this product, I believe. So, yeah, a bit of controversy going on there.
Yeah, very interesting, because it is a very similar size to the Snowwolf. It's a very similar weight to the Snowwolf. Is it any good though? Does it perform the same as a firm favourite? For now, let's dive down and have an unboxing.
Right, let's unbox the L1. Quick tour around the outside of the box. Picture of the device with this lovely screen there. 200 watts of power. There's the Bluetooth logo there. Talk about Canthal nickel titanium stainless steel temperature controlled mod, which is pretty cool. Pretty plain sides. However, if you come around one of the sides, you see all your colour options here. Black, white, red, silver, blue, gold. So on the back of the box is pretty much a repeat of the front down here. It says some basic information about the device. It's the L1 200 watt with Bluetooth 4.0. It has the size of the device there, 101 by 53 by 24 millimeters. Output voltage ranges from 0.5 to 7.5. Input 6.2 to 8.4. Output power goes from down at 5 watts up to the full 200 watt. It talks about the different modes. The resistance range is 0.05 up to 2.5 ohms, and the temperature adjustment range is 100 to 300 degrees C. So, without further ado, let's dive inside. One warranty card, 90-day warranty agreement, one wordy thing, which is all in English. Oh my god, 11 pages, holy shit. And one brand new Nokia. Oh, wait, no. Game Boy. No, wait. Laisimo L1. I'm just going to hold this side on so it's easier to see. So yeah, really nice red glossy finish. Look, there I am. Hello! Yeah, so it's really glossy, really nice. Going to be a fingerprint magnet just like Snowwolf was. If we come around the side here, we see our awesome buttons. Quite a nice clicky action there. But I'm sure you'll be seeing them up close later. 510 connector, very similar to the Smog 510 connectors they use there. Yeah, nice stiff spring load on there. Come down the bottom, you can see our battery venting, bit of an unusual design. Also a USB connection there for, I presume, just firmware updates. So battery door creaks off. One USB cable, a nice battery pull there, nice long one. I assume you have to do some fancy wrapping to make it work. So we've got a little notch down here, so this only sits on one way round. Right, I'm going to chuck some batteries in this bad boy and see what it's got other than fingerprints.
Okay, cheers Slack for that alright unboxing. Some say Tony unboxing, some say Slack. Who knows? You guys decide. Anyway, for now we're going to talk about power range, tech specs and features and protections of the device. So, as you should know by now, it's a 200 watt dual 18650 mod with TC doing Ni and stainless steel. Is it only titanium?
And titanium.
Oh, it's and titanium.
And titanium.
It's actually got a built-in Bluetooth function as well to use with the app on your old Google phones, which never interested me on the smoke. and also a really useful clock function. Okay, so before we move on to all the good stuff like button quality and menu operation and all of that, we're going to go with button pushes. So let's dive down now and have a look, see how that turns out.
Right, quick tour of the L1 before we touch it up. Go button, plus button, minus button, screen, simple. Standard affair here. 5 clicks and you're on. Yeah, I feel there should be some startup music with that, but sadly lacking. Okay, so the first thing you've got is your quick access. So with minus and go, that is going to very awkwardly set your resistance. There, if you can see it flashing up there in red. Just says set resistance, what it is, exactly the same as the Snow Wolf. Same with up and go, locked. And it stays unlocked. Again, hard to see on this screen. That's fine. And unlocked. I really like the lock and unlock function, works every time, nice and easy, you don't need to look. Before you go into any of the menu functions, the plus and minus button will adjust whatever mode you're in. So we're in power mode, so it adjusts the power. Obviously if we're in temp control mode, it adjusts the temperature. But the main menus you want to access are from 3 clicks on the go button. That will go red, and that is what you want to select. Choose the next thing with the plus and minus buttons to cycle through. Select the power option, and that's how you change your mode: stainless steel, titanium, nickel, and back to power. Press the go button again to confirm your selection, or you can wait for it to time out, but it takes a while. So 3 clicks again. Here we have our memory modes. So memory 1, memory 2, just pre-configured settings. As you see, I don't use them. Next up, we have our main settings. Now this is a bit of a beast, so I'm going to flip round by going down and start at the top. So nickel, titanium and stainless steel working time, how long it will fire for in those modes. Power working time, 10 seconds, obviously lower so you don't burn anything out. Screen brightness, you can adjust that in here. Screen turns dark after 10 seconds. Screen turns off after 20 seconds. This is also the amount of time it takes to come out of this menu. So you're going to have to wait 20 seconds or get down to exit to come out of here. Bluetooth off, obviously self-explanatory. You can set the time in here, you can set the date in here. You can set a maximum puffs per day, which is why it needs the date and time so it knows when a day has happened. You can cycle through your wallpapers. You literally select one of 3 files that's pre-configured in here. In fact, I will change it. So hit the go button. This is the same for all menu items. Up and down, find what you want, and again you can either wait the 20 seconds till it times out or just press go, and then you can continue working through the menu. So font colour, this is for the main screen. We may need to change that now we've changed the picture, but let's see what happens. Bluetooth sleeping, obviously your Bluetooth power saving, and here's the amount of power you're going to be delivering for each of the temperature control modes. What I should say is that these go up to a maximum of 70 watts. Come down the bottom to exit, or wait that god awful 20 seconds, and we're back to picture 1. So the last thing to show you on the menu, if we come down here, this question mark. It's a user manual on your thing. What? Oh look, great here. Okay, type choices, user manual. Let's get in there. Okay, there we go. We power watts. So, right. Okay, let's go. Little tour of the factory. And that's it. So you think, well, maybe I'll need to get into one of the... Nope, no, that's it. Chocolate teapots, anyone? So I'll quickly put it in the correct mode for me. This is a crown on here. We're going to want stainless steel. Boom. There we go. So now we're in stainless steel mode. Obviously we've got our resistance. It's just as simple as dialing a temperature you want to run at, and away you go. Right, so the round robin on this thing, scrolling all the way to the top, You see, it sometimes flips over, it sometimes doesn't, but the important thing is it stays at the top setting, it doesn't roll back to negative. Press up again and it will just flip you over to the other measurement and you can come back down the scale.
Okay, cheers Slack for the button pushes. There we go, almost lost it. Next up, button quality. Slack.
Yeah, so I mean, they're really nice buttons. They've got this sort of tactile, sort of ridged sort of affair going on. They work really well. There's sort of no miss clicks. You have a nice gentle click on it, which is good, you know. I've just entered menu. 3 clicks for menu. Learn your lessons. So yeah, as button quality goes, it's really good, and the button layout is just so similar to Snowwolf. You know, they're in the same place. They sort of do the same thing. They kind of feel the same, and we like Snowwolf, and we like this.
Next up, let's talk about menu operation.
Yeah, okay, so as you saw in the uppy closely, there's kind of 3 layers. You know, we've got a bit of an inception menu going on here. The first thing, you've got those couple of direct access features, your quick lock, which is awesome. I love this quick lock. You just click it and you know it's done it. It's that simple. No messing. Also, you've got your set resistance, again, on a direct button click. Brilliant, that's great. So that's like layer 1. Layer 2, you do the 3 clicks and you're in, and you can move about, change between your coil types and your other settings like that. Then you go that 3rd layer, the dangerous layer. It's the hardcore menu. You know, we're in the settings menu where everything is. There are tons of options.
Yeah, and that 3rd layer is just kind of a chore to navigate, because they've had to cram so much into it, but you need access to that stuff, because if you didn't have it, you'd be bitching and moaning like, where the fuck? Why can't I do this? Why can't I do that? So although it's terrible in as much as trying to use it, it's great that it's there. Next up for you, we're going to be diving down for an up-close look at the Bluetooth operation, how it interacts with mobile phones. So let's go find out.
Right, let's have a look at this app then. So first thing obviously you need to do is have your Bluetooth on your device. Next up, you're going to need to install the app, Laisimo, off the and the Laisimo LSM off the App Store. Anyway, with those 2 things done, you connect in and you will see your Laisimo L1 there. We're going to select that as our device, and there it is. This is our screen. So when you take a hit, all that good stuff is recorded on the screen. You can see your temp that's set, your voltage, you know, all of that good stuff. No amps, which is a shame. Come down the bottom and you've got your mode, plan, records and settings. We'll start off with mode, do something very basic. This is not titanium, this is stainless steel. In here you can select soft, normal and strong, which is pretty cool. I like that, so I like mine strong. We'll turn it down a little bit, leave the power up. At 11 seconds is an acceptable working period. We confirm that, and you can see that we're on stainless steel, and all of our settings have just been set. Plan is a puff plan. How many puffs you have on each day of the week. No interest in that personally. You can click up here to go back. I'm not going in records just yet, but that's just a record of your puffs. Settings, in here we can get to a few other things where you can give the device a specific name, change the unit of measurement, so we'll go into centigrade, the amount of standby time you have, the date and time, your screen setting. So here it's a much nicer menu than on screen of the device to actually set it, where you can choose what background you have, and there we go. So that's pretty cool. In here you can see your version of firmware you're running, and you can also do a factory reset. Right, that's about it. It's pretty cool as Bluetooth apps go. Back to the studio.
Okay, so next up was a bit of a Mission Impossible sort of scenario with the firmware update. So right now we'll go across to Slack, who's doing his best impression of 007.
Right, okay, firmware is updatable. However, there's a bit of a procedure. First, you have to find and destroy 7 Horcruxes. Then you must take the 1 ring to the fires of Mordor. And yeah, you get the point. It's a complete ball ache. You know, this day and age, you expect to just plug something in by USB and it's going to detect what it is, and you just do that. It's not anywhere near that simple. Okay, now I was going to record this on my computer, but my computer's all shades of knackered thanks to Windows Update. Cheers, Bill. Yeah, so instead I'm going to talk you through the steps and the pitfalls with the firmware update, and hopefully we'll get some screenshots up for the key bits. Okay, so for the firmware update, the first thing you're going to do is going to go to the Laisimo website and download the driver package. Now, when you download the driver package, you get two editions, Windows 7 and Windows 8/10. I've got Windows 7. Within the Windows 7 one, you get a 32-bit and a 64-bit. I have 64-bit, so I went for that one. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Doing a bit of research, it doesn't work. What you have to do is just forget the Windows 7 one. If you're on Windows 7, just use the Windows 8 one, and it works, which was a bit of a worry. So you download it, extract it. You'd think then, that's great, I've installed it, it's ready to go, I'll just plug it in, and no, you're still not there. So once you've got the software, you also get a manual, and I will stress, just follow the manual. It's really simple with the manual, it's just a procedure. The first thing you're going to need to do is take out your batteries. Yeah, just take the last one out here. There's a button click you need to press and hold while you insert the batteries. On screen, it will then tell you your firmware version, yeah, like the model of firmware you need to put on there. And for me, what I did is I took a photograph of my version so I didn't forget, because two of them look a little bit similar. I didn't want to just pick the wrong one and try and install that. Once you've got that, then you can go to the next step. Right, so armed with our correct firmware version and the software installed, we are ready to proceed. You're going to need to do the take the batteries out trick. Okay, this time, instead of just pressing the go button to see your firmware version, you're going to press go and up. You're going to keep them held down while putting that last battery in there. When you do that, keep it held down for about 3 or 4 seconds, and you'll see it's going into upgrade mode and it's ready to go. Then you plug the USB in, the device will be detected, and you're good. It's connected to your computer. Next step, you just open the software. There's a little update button, which hopefully will be on screen now. You select the file type you want, which corresponds to your one that we took the photo of earlier, and just hit update. That's it, done. Finally.
So yeah, once you've got that whole ball ache out of the way, you'll then have access to effectively upload photos to the front screen of the Laisimo, which is kind of awesome. However, what we will stipulate here is that if you get caught or captured, we will disavow all knowledge, and if you break your computer or your Laisimo, we were never here.
So in regards to the photo update for the front of your device, the pictures need to be orientated upside down. They need to be in a JPEG sort format of a certain size. All that information is in that manual with the software you downloaded. Follow it in case it changes with different firmware versions. There's no point in us telling you something is gospel. The manual comes down with each firmware version, so just follow that. But one trick to remember, you shouldn't use any programs that leave weird filters, weird compressions with that JPEG. If you're finding your file isn't working, simply open it in something basic like MS Paint and just save the file again. That will take all that weird extraneous stuff off, leaving you with just a basic file which you'll then be able to upload, and job is a good one.
Okay, next up for you guys is the 510 connector. It's a good quality connector, nice threads on there, screws on really nicely. Does it scratch the paintwork?
So far so good with the scratching the paintwork, but you know, it is directly onto the top of the mod, very much like Snowball, funnily enough. You know, it's straight there, but so far, yeah, having run different ATIs on it, you know, drippers and stuff, it hasn't yet scratched. I mean, the paintwork around the outside has got a little chip on it already, however we haven't got any scratching from it yet. I'm sure it will happen.
Now let's talk about temperature control for it. Like we said earlier, it does TI, NI and stainless steel, you know, the big three. It works well out of the box after you've updated that latest firmware, we've found.
But sadly, you can't adjust your TCR in it, so you are stuck at the moment with the settings that come with it. Now, Hopefully this is going to come in a future firmware. I don't know that, but you know it's lacking. So come on, guys, let's get it together. It would be nice to see. What you can adjust is the hit length, you know, in temp control individually for each coil type. So you can say that for titanium, I only want a max of 8 seconds hit, whereas if I'm on nickel, I can have a 12-second hit. Whatever you want, you know, it's sort of adjustable there. That's fine, I suppose. It's a thing. You can also adjust the maximum wattage that is used to deliver that temp control per coil type, which I like. That's quite a good feature. However, you can only go up to 75 watts. Tony's busy choking on a laugh at the moment. Yeah, 75 watts in temp control. So, you know, you're not going to get that sort of DNA 200 level of I want a punch of this and a thing of that. You know, you don't get that type of adjustment. But as temp control goes, the implementation's pretty decent. I'm going to give it a hit on temp control. We're running titanium. It's at the full 300 at the full 75 watts.
And now, because he's said all of that, I'm left here holding my wad.
Yeah, it's great. It's doesn't get too hot. I do quite like my temp control quite hot, and this is at the max settings. It's a little bit on the cooler side, but acceptable. It works. Plenty of power there. The hit's good, so you know it is good, and you dial it right down, and it goes right down. So yeah, it works.
Okay, so following on from temperature control, we just thought we'd throw it balls to the wall and chuck Twisted Messes on it and see how it performs at 200 watt. Now, Snow Wolf pulsed at above 150 watt, so we were curious to find out.
Right, okay, so we're at 200 watts. It's a 0.46 ohm coil, Twisted Messes there with some mega clapsons on it. I'm going to give it a go and see if I can't set my lungs on fire. Aside from being incredibly hot and a little bit on the spitty side with these coils, the power delivery is absolutely fine. It just ramps right up there and just powers along. So yeah, it works exactly as you would expect a 200 watt mod to work. My lungs, on the other hand, do not work as you would expect.
Moving now firmly into size, portability and weight. You know, it's an dual 18650 mod, and being as such, it's not going to be a lightweight sort of thing, especially with an LCD screen. That being said,
yeah, so I thought this was going to be really, really heavy. It's not. It just feels the same as all other similar mods. You know, in the hand, it feels the same weight as Snow Wolf. It feels the same weight as Cuboid. You know, for me, that's absolutely fine. I don't have any issues with the size or weight of this. You know, because it's quite a big one. You know that, but you know, you can still hold your PlayStation wheel with it, and you know, out and about, it's absolutely fine. This made it all the way through Vape Jam with me. You know, it was just in and out the back pocket, in and out the bag. You know, it was just there, and it wasn't a hindrance. But that's me, and I know that people have said I want to get rid of Snow Wolf because it's too heavy for me. So if that sort of weight concerns you, then you know this is slightly heavier, and we're talking 10 grams heavier. So this weighs in at 235 grams without any batteries or an ATI on the top. Snow Wolf weighs in at 225, so there's a 10 grams difference. Cuboid's down at 207 thereabouts. You know, so they're all of a very similar weight, and if that weight doesn't bother you, then this weight won't bother you. It's not massively heavy for that giant screen on it, you know, which was a bit of a surprise, to be honest.
So would you say, in your experience of using it out and about, is it sturdy enough as an out and about device?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Again, with that massive screen, I was really worried that it was going to be very sort of delicate feeling, and I was going to be sort of worried about breaking it. But actually, you know, as long as you're not dropping it, because I'm sure this would not survive a drop, you know, in the same way that other mods with the much smaller screens probably would. yeah, as long as you're not dropping it, it's absolutely fine. It hasn't really scratched up either, which is nice. It's not like the cuboid with that really soft plastic, you know. You got the soft wrapper on the cuboid, you take that off, you got a soft screen underneath, so damned if you do, damned if you don't. Whereas this has not got a single scratch yet, and it's been with me. I have managed to knock some of the paint off the surround, but, you know, I kind of do that to all of my stuff. It doesn't take long. Like I say, I chuck it in like door pockets, cup holders and stuff with keys, and you know, I've walked stuff with screws in my pocket because I'm stupid. But yeah, so far I thought it was going to be really precious with this and all dainty and delicate. I treat it exactly the same as any other mod, and I have no worries about it being any different to any other mod, which is really cool.
Now let's move on to battery life for it, and surprisingly, really good. Considering the size of the screen on the front of it, you'd think it would be a battery drain, but it's actually really quite efficient. The only downside, though, is the battery indicators that are on the screen. It's useless. It says that they're full for ages, and then all of a sudden you've got dead batteries.
Yeah, so you will spend most of your time at full battery, and then you see it very slowly start to creep down, and then it flies down and it's dead. In terms of battery life, I've been running this mainly with Samsung 30Qs, and with them in, I've been getting sort of nearly 2 days of almost exclusive use. I do use other mods, but mainly I've been using this, and yeah, like I say, almost 2 days worth of use. Now that's days when I'm at work and I'm not vaping constantly, but even so, that's really good. You know, that is actually better than some other mods I've got. You know, so yeah. I was expecting crap. I thought this is just going to kill them, no battery life, but that's not the case. You just cannot rely on that fucking indicator.
Next up for you guys is the battery cover quality and security. Now, Slack's written in the docket it's acceptable. However, based on the information I have at hand, this thing would fuck me off to the back teeth. He's written here that it works. It does work fine. It's acceptable. It does what it's supposed to do. However, it wobbles.
Yeah, so I've worked out a really simple fix for that wobble, but even if you don't use the fix, you know, or any fix, it doesn't really bother you while it's in your hand, you know. It's just if you're sort of there, you get that rattle, and it just sort of cheapens the unit, you know. So the other thing that I find a problem around the battery area is fitting the batteries. There's a bit of a exact science to fitting them. So we're going to dive down now. I'll show you how to fit the batteries and how they fit together, because it's just a little bit unusual. Also, I'll show you my cheap and tacky fix to stop the old battery door wobbling. I see, look, it's silent. Right, I'm going to have to show you how these batteries fit in, because they are a bit of a ball ache. So, right, so obviously the positive end goes in here, negative there. You would expect to just sort of push the battery in like that and do this sort of motion. It doesn't work like that. The only way you can do it is to get the battery at this kind of angle and do it a tiniest bit, and it will go in. Any other way, it just doesn't want to fit in. If you get the angle wrong, like there, yeah, you push and pull, it doesn't want to go. You need to get the angle just right, and it will pop in. So don't forget your ribbon, because the batteries are a bit of a pig to get out. And again, we're going to go for that just slight angle, going for the springy end first. Now, one more thing to show. Usually you would fold your battery ribbon over the batteries, get it out of the way, put that in. We have a rattle. There is a really easy fix to that. Right, the trick to making this fit and stop the rattle, have the ribbon sitting out over the side, which looks shit, but bear with me. So it's sticking out, and that's going to annoy you because the ribbon's slightly rough. But then if you just pull it down towards the bottom, you'll get it eventually lined up where it hardly moves at all. This isn't a perfect example. The ribbon isn't particularly tidy. It's quite difficult to do on camera, but trust me, that works. Failing that, you can just whack a bit of electrical tape in down there just to stop that movement. Now that's taken like 90% of the movement out of this battery door. When it's done properly, it will take all of it out.
Okay, cheers Slack for that informational up close. I think we all can agree that it was helpful. The last thing to do with the battery cover quality and security is the fact that if you use batteries with thicker wraps on, the door will sit proud of the unit. It's not a deal breaker. It's still perfectly acceptable. It will work. It's just something to be aware of.
Okay, let's talk about the styling of the device. Obviously, the majority of the styling is based around this freaking huge TV you've got in the front of it there. I think it's really cool. It's one of the things that drew me to it. But it's weird. When it was Snowwolf, I wasn't entirely sure about the introduction of a screen. I think part of my uncertainty was actually based around battery life, things like that. We've seen that isn't an issue. So in terms of styling, it looks pretty cool. You can set your own wallpapers on there. It's great. It just looks like a 90s phone. In which case, where's Snake? Why have we not got a game freaking mod here, you know? You've got all the stuff there. You've even got Bluetooth, so you could have a Bluetooth controller, you know, playing some sort of shit Tetris on there, you know? High score? Hooray!
Yeah, the other thing to do with style is the nice rounded corners to it, the finished look. It's sort of metallic, isn't it? It has a real sort of metallic feel to it.
Part of that's all the e-juice, so I spill over it. But
the other thing is the abundance of colour options that they've got going for it. So you got it in black, white, blue, red,
gold, silver,
and gold.
Yeah, I said that one.
You did. I was just checking.
Yeah, I mean, all sorts of colours. Like, it's the whole rainbow, you know. So, do I want the whole? Do I want the whole set? Oh, who knows? What colour?
This isn't fucking Pokemon. Gotta catch them all.
But you know, I might be wearing a red t-shirt one day. You know, this ties in quite nicely. Or you know, he could have done the white one with this. You never know.
Get the spray paint can out.
Yeah, that'd do it.
Okay, nice and quickly now for you guys, the warranty for it. According to the documentation that comes in the box, 90-day limited warranty. As always, you break it, you bought it.
Right, okay, that's about bringing us towards the end of our review for the L1. So we're going to sum up, as always, we're going to do it with pros and cons, starting with the cons so we end on that high. First con is going to be the firmware update. While it's great that it's got firmware update, it is such a pain in the balls to go through. There's too many steps, it's too awkward, you have to do too many battery out buttons. It's unnecessarily difficult.
The next con, which is closely tied with the first one to do with firmware, is the fact that there's no support for Macs, which is good because now Apple users know how Windows Phone users feel.
Next up is the Bluetooth app. Again, while it's good it's got a Bluetooth app, I mean, what use they are, but it is nice to have, you know, it's good to have that thing. The thing that I'm going to put in the cons list is the fact that when you install that app on your Android phone that I tested it on, it asks whether you want to allow it, or you have to allow it, to access your contacts, your phone call information, all sorts of shit that it has no business in being in. Coming from China, you know, we do wonder what data is being stolen from our phones. It's a bit unnecessary. It's a bit intrusive. Deep penetration here.
Invasive.
Yeah.
Made me feel dirty. And so next up is the fact that there's no adjustable TCR on the unit, which is a bit of a bummer.
Yeah, I love that. I think all temp control should have that, so you can adjust it as needed. Hopefully, you know, this is something that could be introduced with the firmware update. So, Laisimo, if you are watching this, come on, guys, please get that TCR in there. Next up on the cons list is going to be all around the battery door. Fitting the batteries is a pain. The battery door itself wobbles and you have to fix it with your little bit of ribbon. It's a pain, you know, if you're wearing thick wraps on your batteries, it doesn't fit the door properly. It's a pain. It could have been done better. It was so close to being perfect. In reality, when you're using it, it's not really a big deal. You know, the batteries do go in, they're just a bit fiddlier, and when the door's on, even if it rattles, it doesn't while you're using it, like other devices with bad doors. So it's not terrible, but it's certainly not perfect, hence making its way into my cons list.
Next up on the cons list is, while we're talking about the batteries, is the battery indicator on the front, and the fact that there's no real indication of when the batteries are going to die. It's kind of full and then it's dead. What would be a brilliant amendment to that front screen would be a battery indicator with a percentage readout. Come on, Laisimo, you can do it.
While we're adding stuff to the readout, this is just a nice to have. The keyboard tells you your amp draw, and this doesn't, and I miss that. We've got this huge screen. Let's get some more information on there.
And lastly, for this excessive cons list, has got to be the fact that it's a fingerprint magnet. Not necessarily on the body of it, but that screen, that huge bastard screen, it attracts fingerprints.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. But, it comes with the territory of these sort of things.
Okay, so that's enough ragging on this beautiful bastard of a device. Let's start talking about the good shit it's got going for it. And firstly, in the pros section...
Right, it's a weird one. The clock. I love it. Every time I've seen clocks on these things, like other devices, you only show it when it's locked and you're trying to unlock it. It'll show you the time. What fucking use is that? And I thought, what use is it having it here? Actually, go out on a vape break, you're like, oh, that's the time, because I've got it in my hand already. I don't even have to get my phone out of the pocket. I don't wear a watch, because what's the point in wearing a watch? I've got 2 clocks on my phones, now I've got one on my mod. It's just actually really handy. Another good thing about this clock is that it doesn't reset when you take the batteries out overnight to charge like other devices. That comes in really handy because you set it once and off you go. It's great.
The next pro we've got for you is the battery life. The battery life, as Slack said earlier in the review, he gets a good 2 days out of it in working. It is fantastic with its efficiency in using batteries. You'd think the screen would kill the batteries, and it doesn't. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. So next up on the pros list is going to be the fact that it has a full and glorious menu. They're not fucking about with this menu. That everything apart from TCR is in there. You just fire your way through, and there's so many options. You have proper access to it. Like I said, you've got kind of 3 layers of things you can get to, and that's really good.
Nextly on the pros list is the quick lock function that it's got loaded in it.
I love it. Look, power locks. I know it's locks. Power, it's unlocks. It's that simple. It's just so good. Same with Snowwolf. It's one of the few devices that you can just lock one click. It's 2 buttons, but 1 click, and it's done. It happens every time. Really reliable, really safe, makes it really easy to use, and I think that's quite an important feature. You don't want to be trying to do 5 clicks. Did it click every single click 5 times? Done. Next up on the pros list is going to be the fact that you can set custom desktop backgrounds for your mod. How cool is that? You can have your own picture, your own image, something cool, and it's a real talking point, a good customization. I really like that with the DNA 200s, the fact that you can customize your own menu, but this is a full color thing. You can have whatever you want. You can have your own face staring back at you, which who wouldn't want that?
Next up is the fact that it's got updatable firmware. I mean, any product that is capable of having an update put on it just shows that the company is willing to invest in their product, and we are all for those sort of companies. Hopefully we will see an update that will include TCR in the firmware. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so the original Snowwolf did not have updatable firmware, and that was one of the things that I felt it fell short on. Just the tweaks that are needed. As stuff develops, and this has got it. So life cycle support, which is great. And last up on the pros list, is this giant screen. It's awesome. I love it. I'm sure there are going to be people out there who hate it. They think it looks tacky because it is a bit of a Marmite feature, but I really like it. It's really good to have all that information on there. It's nice to have that sort of full colour display. And as we said earlier, it's nice that doesn't kill the battery. You're not really paying a penalty for having this awesome screen. Right, okay, we've reached the end. We've got through it. We made it through, guys. I know we ragged on it a lot in the cons section, but they are minor points. They're just stuff, like always, that we like to mention, just so you know what you're getting for your money. Now, I think this is a really great, solid unit. Really happy with its performance, and I'm really glad I got it. Okay guys, that's it for the review for the Laisimo L1. We hope you've enjoyed the ride. It's been a bit of a bumpy one, but we made it through, and that's the important thing. As always, please like and subscribe if you enjoy what we're doing. If you don't, or you've got any questions about this device or anything else, hit us up in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to follow us on the social medias, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. We are quite
Chatty!
yeah. Also, hit us up on the UK Vaping Forum over on Facebook. And for now, thank you very much for watching Smog Vlog.
Hi, I'm...
Sorry. I was just like looking...
The exhale just fucking kills me every time.
Well, it's good because I wasn't ready. Because like you started and I'm like... One quick look at the camera. One quick look at the softbox. Right, okay, let's touch this sucker up. Obviously, here's our go button, here's our plus button. Don't do it on no sleep. That is the message here. So I'll quickly put it in the correct mode for me. Which I had. Yes, it's the good kind of round robin that when you're scrolling up it will just stop. Sometimes, really. But it stops at the top, it doesn't just keep cycling. That's the important thing here.
Good.
So introduce button quality and ask me what your head wonky.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to my world and you turn me off.
Well, I never used to fucking suffer from it, but now... What have you done to me?
I know, right?
Bloody infected me.
Right, come on then.
That doesn't feel right.
Come on, don't look at them.
Looking.
Don't look at them. Might need to look at the manual. I don't want to miss anything because it was such a ball ache. Oh dear. Overjuiced. I just thought I'm not going to be vaping dog hair this time, am I? Nice smooth vape there.
Very.
Well, in that case it works good. Right, let's do it. Got temp control. There's a camera in there somewhere. Ready for the money shot. Right, okay, let's take a
Dump.
yeah.
Let's take a dump. Nice and thoughtful, relaxing.
Watching Grim Green.
Laisimo. Take 2.
Next up on the
I thought we were coming up with a new list there. Next up on the roll. I feel we need more outtakes.
Great. Okay, so we're yeah, brilliant. There we go. Nailed it.
Get this man another drink.
Yeah, if only. Fuck. So near the end.
It may feel like I'm looking at you.
You are looking at me.
I really am. Look, you got my mod excited. It's juiced everywhere.
Okay guys, so that's it for the Laisimo L1 review by Smog Vlog. No, we don't say that. This is why I don't fucking finish. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. That wasn't terrible.
That was not terrible.
Yeah.